Hello.
Okay, so I had number 5. So we're starting out with a function f of x equals cosine of x times e to the square root of 3 times x. So to find and classify all relative extrema for f of x, we're going to start by taking the derivative of the function. So that ends up being this. We find this by using product rule, and you can figure that out by just noticing that there are two parts to this function that are separate. And so we're going to start by taking the derivative of this. So e to the square root of 3 times x follows the rule e to the k of x, e to the kx. So we are going to bring down the k. So it's going to be square root of 3 times e to the square root of 3 times x. And then for this side of the derivative, we're going to take the derivative of that and then bring down the original of this, so cosine of x, and then plus the original part of that, e to the square root of 3 times x, and then times the derivative of cosine of x, which is negative sine of x. So that's, you can end up factoring out some stuff, but that's the derivative. So next you're going to set the derivative to 0, so that'll give you the critical numbers, which end up being x equals negative 2.094 and x equals 1.047, and you can get that by plugging it into the table using solver or looking at the graph of the function. And then you're going to use a sign chart, so you're going to put down both critical numbers, so there and there, and you're just going to put 0 at the top because that's where the function equals 0. And then you can use a table or look at the graph to see where this, what sign is like on the other side. So to the left of this critical number, it's going to be negative, in between positive, and then to the right of this critical number, it's going to be negative as well. So you can see this will end up being the relative minimum because it's decreasing and then increasing, and this is the relative maximum because it is increasing and then decreasing. So I have those here. And then for part B, you're going to find and classify the absolute extrema on this interval. So these are the endpoints. So what you're going to do with these, you're going to include these in the table. So you can find this by looking at the table. So you can plug in the original function into y equals in your calculator and then look at the table function. So you're going to plug in 0, 1.047, and pi over 2. You're not going to plug in this critical value because it is outside of this interval. So once you find what that equals, you're going to see that this is the max and this is the min. So the max is 3.07 at x equals 1.047, and the minimum is 0 at x equals pi over 2.